Ishakshoni Mikwach.
Thank you so much for joining us here on An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade. Today we're featuring the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County. And for anyone that's watching or listening today, and if you've had a loved one that has been diagnosed with dementia, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. For those that maybe haven't had a connection, I'm hoping you'll learn a lot today. And learn a lot, of course, from two of my very first guests today. Monique Doolittle-Romas, how are you, my friend?
I am well, Sam. Thank you for this opportunity.
I love seeing you in this new role. Tell us what your role is with Dementia Society.
I have the privilege of being the CEO of the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County, which means I get to interact with caregivers, work with our dementia care coaches, our amazing board of directors, and our donors as well.
And Margit, thank you so much for being here. And as the chair, you have a very important job, my friend.
Thank you for the opportunity, Sam. It is an important role, and one that I have found. I have a long tenure of volunteering with the Dementia Society, and I found that I always take away much more with me than I give to the organization.
Wow,
and
that's
all
beautiful.
Of the people that use the services.
And that's exactly what you want a chair to say and feel and live. Because this is, we think about all of the different charities and nonprofits in this country. I think the one that we know is growing at a rapid speed is this one. So let's start at the baseline. What is dementia?
Dementia is the umbrella term that includes Alzheimer's, frontotemporal dementia. There are approximately 100 diseases that sit under the umbrella term of dementia. And it is important that everybody receive a clear diagnosis, that they meet with their physician. If they aren't sure, that they meet with a neurologist. And if they're diagnosed, then they need to reach out. Caregivers don't have to travel this journey alone. We're there to support them.
And I have to tell you, I'm just going to start the show this way because I know I'll refer to it a million times. My mom's been diagnosed with dementia. And I have to tell you that I don't think there's anything that has tested the fiber of every part of my being more than this diagnosis. And I know it is hers. But let's be honest, Mark, this is a family dementia.
Most definitely, yes. And that is something that people who come to the Dementia Society for support, education, or coaching learn that we don't consider it only the person living with dementia. It's a whole entire family, and it impacts everyone and the caregivers. And that's why our programs and services are designed for all of the members in the journey, and including support groups and programs and activities that are available for the person living with dementia. Perhaps it would give their family member a break or their caregiver a break if they need time to collect their thoughts. And speaking personally, my father had Alzheimer's disease, and it was certainly something that I know wasn't just for him. It affected all of us. So that's why it's so important to make sure that we get the word out in our community that we are here to help, and let people know what we can do to help them and navigate the process.
Beautifully said. And what I find too, and I'm 54 years old, I've shared this before, my age with everyone, and I think it's really important to kind of talk about that sandwich generation. So I have a teenage daughter and I have a mom who's in her 80s. So when one is losing their license, one is gaining their license, I feel like the sandwich generation, but I feel like baloney in the middle. And I know I'm not alone because a lot of my friends are dealing with the same thing. Talk to me about the numbers. How many people are you supporting?
Today, we're supporting over 5,000 caregivers on an annual basis. However, there are 24,000 people in our region living with dementia, a form of dementia, a form that has affected their brain and that they need some support. We need to reach all of them because, as you said, we are in a sandwich generation. My mother-in-law recently passed away last September. She had dementia, vascular dementia, and it affects all of us. And you don't have to do this alone. And I think that's the scary part. We try. We're fixers. We'll take care of things. I'll raise my family. I'll take care of my mom. I'll take care of my dad. What happens to you? You have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure, you always put the oxygen first on yourself. They say that on the plane. It's the same when you're a caregiver. You have to take care of yourself.
And I think there's so many different scenarios, Mark. Like, for instance, I'm an only child and a single mom and a sole entrepreneur. Not that this show is about me, but just to give you a sense of like, so if it doesn't get done, it means I didn't do it, basically. But then I have lots of people in my network who, they have 4 or 5 brothers or sisters, or even a brother or sister, but one person is kind of taking charge, and there can be a bit of resentment, there can be a bit of like, you have no idea how hard this is. So it's those conversations that have to happen between families. Those are hard conversations.
They are very hard conversations, but so important to communicate. And everybody can be feeling very different about their loved one who's been diagnosed. And if it isn't brought up in conversation, as gently as it can be, sometimes it can't make it better. And that's really where the Dementia Society's role is. How can we make it better? And through all of the different avenues that we have for people, that helps. And there's fact sheets and tips through our website that people can refer to that addresses some of those situations that you're referring to.
Because I think there's so many, like we say, so many different scenarios, but certainly, and I'll speak a little bit from experience, you see little signs, but then you're like, well, at the time, well, she's 75. Or, oh, she's not feeling well. Or it's wintertime. Or, so you sort of, kind of push it off to the side and say, you rationalize it until someday something happens, and I won't tell you mine because I'll start to cry, but something happens and you say, okay, I'm putting a pin in it. Now I have to deal with this. So is there guidance from your team on this?
There is absolutely guidance. The strength of our team is our dementia care coaches. They are specifically designated to work with the caregivers. You can get tailored coaching, one-on-one support. If you're dealing with a family situation that not everybody's agreeing, one doesn't want to talk about it, one doesn't want anyone to know, there's still stigma. We can help talk you through that situation. We won't counsel, we're not counselors, but we're experts in dementia, and we can refer you to other service providers that can help as well. But we'll walk with you. And you're right, sometimes it's like, oh, where did I place my keys again, my car keys? I came in, I was carrying 3 bags, versus I put the TV remote control in the fridge.
Right.
I don't remember how to turn the oven on.
Right.
And how do you have that conversation with a loved one that's safe, that they don't feel you're judging them and losing their license? There are so many things that go along, but you don't have to do that alone. We can coach through those discussions because they're not easy. There are spouses, there are parents. We need to be there for them, but you need to be there for yourself as well, and we'll be there with you.
As the chair of the board, I mean, I know obviously you've got lots of different sort of priorities, and obviously making sure that it's run fiscally well and you've got great leaders, and all of that is really important. But there's always a part of board work and nonprofit charity work that is heart work.
Yes.
What's the heart work for you?
Oh, the heart work is making sure that we can let people know that we exist, that we can help them. It's a frightening diagnosis. It can be. The stigma is lifting, but there is still stigma around the diagnosis. And what brings me joy in the role is knowing that people that might not have a large network can connect with the Dementia Society and find help to navigate. That's really speaking to our mission of saying that no one should face dementia alone.
Mm-hmm. And you know, similarly for you leading this team, and I've met so many of the team, and I was so happy to be part of your event last year, and you just saw the passion on the walk, which was really important for people that were there supporting. What's the heart to work for you? Because I know you've worked with seniors in the past. Is this different?
It is different. In the past, I've worked directly with seniors through various roles that I've had in the community. This time, we're working with caregivers. So it's a different role, but we still get to work with people with dementia. And I do have to say the board is exceptional. They are not only worried about fiscal and reporting and legal responsibilities, but they have always put the caregivers and the clients first. Even when maybe funds were a little bit tight, the board always invested to make sure that we could meet the needs of the community, which to me is incredible because you always have to find that balance. But the majority of our board members have been caregivers, so they understand that journey. It is important. And it is a privilege. I do say it is a privilege to work with caregivers, to be with them, to hold their hand, and to watch them create their own peer network. When you go to the support groups, the coach is there to guide, but they have their own conversations. And then they go for coffee. And they realize not only are we there, they're there for each other. We can support them. They can support each other, which is really important. It can be lonely.
Oh, it's lonely. I'm so glad you said that because it is lonely.
It is.
Yeah, I'll put up my hand and say sometimes I feel very alone. We only have a couple minutes. It goes by so fast. But I wanted to ask you, when you hear, and I've had just in my own network, I've got 2 gentlemen that married beautiful women, and both of those women were diagnosed in their 40s. Wow. Does it frighten you that we're seeing this younger and younger, the diagnosis?
Oh, very much so. It can strike almost anyone at any age, although an early onset is on the more unusual side of the diagnosis. For families who have plans for their children and their life after work and their day-to-day, it can change things in an instance. And that's not what we all plan for or hope for our lives. The knowledge that there's people out there that are going through that, they have an entirely different set of concerns and issues than perhaps someone who is diagnosed when they're in their 70s. And we try to meet the needs of those individuals as well because they're navigating a very different path. And until we can connect with them, they may not be aware how we can help, and so that's why we want to connect.
Speaking of help, and we only have a little bit of time, but how can we help? What do you need from us today?
I would ask that if you know somebody with dementia or somebody who's a caregiver, please ask them to contact us. We are there to support them. Our programs are offered at no cost to the caregiver. We want to ensure that there's absolutely no barriers. In order to do that, we have to raise funds. So if people can join us for the Walk for Dementia on September 21st, raise funds, organize a fundraiser for us, sponsor, because we've all been touched by dementia. All of my friends are now going through this journey with their family members. They want to get involved. So if people can want to reach out, support us, and let people know that we're here for caregivers.
Speaking of caregivers, we're going to meet one when we come back after this break. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate your time today. And I'm hoping that we've inspired you today to look into the work of the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County, but also to think about the resources that are there. We're going to come back in a minute. I'm Sam Laprade. Come on back for an hour to give. You were great.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
This is Ben Weiss of the Historical Society of Ottawa. Join us for a new series here on Rogers TV, where we explore Ottawa's fascinating history, the people, places, and events that shape the city we live in today. Join us as we go time traveling exclusively on Rogers TV.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI-GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
Join us on the next Hour to Give to learn all about the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County. They have a lot of resources for you and your loved ones, plus you can find out how you can support them.
There are thousands of reasons to support BGC Ottawa. The club provides a safe place where all kids and teens can experience new opportunities, overcome barriers, and develop confidence. But the best reasons? 85% of club members say they're better prepared to do well in life. 93% of kids receive the help they need with their homework. And 97% feel safe. As the club's Chief Programs Officer, I'm living proof that BGC Ottawa changes lives. Learn how at bgcottawa.org.
And we're back on An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade. Today is all about the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County. And we have two new guests for you today. I'd like to welcome to the show Cara Bedell and her friend Gloria. Cara, what's your role with the Dementia Society?
So I am the team lead for what we call the intake team. So I'm a dementia care coach. My team does the initial welcome calls. So when someone is first referred, whether they refer themselves or if they're referred by someone else, we do that first call and get kind of some basic information from them, and then kind of look at, you know, what are the priorities right now to know what they need.
And Gloria, you know about the intake program, right?
Yes, Cara called me. My husband was diagnosed in 2021, and Cara called, and I was so happy to hear from her because I'd been through this journey with my mom, and there was not that resource. And so I'm sure I talked her ear off for about an hour and a half about everything. And from there, you know, we connected with, and I think the connection came through my husband's doctor. So from there, we connected with support groups and activities that were available, as well as resources. And I remember going to the first support group meeting and feeling a little shy because, you know, it's not every day. I wasn't really used to talking about it. And the women and men that were there in that group that day were amazing and have continued to be amazing. And I can't say enough about the support group that we go to. And Cara, the first day, gave me her phone number, her email, call me whenever, and we check in. We run into each other every once in a while at the Dementia Society or at the support group, and all the people that are there are wonderful. They're so supportive.
And Gloria is just one story. So you support a lot of people in the community. How many people would you be supporting right now?
Oh, I have probably, I mean, individually, probably 20, just me.
Yes.
But those are regular people. We have some people that will just call us every 6 months and say, okay, here's what's going on. This is situation. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And we'll talk about strategies and here are some resources, whether it's community services, whether it's, you know, whatever it is that they need. We do the initial phone calls I was talking about, we do probably 30 a week.
Wow.
Those are new people.
Wow. And Gloria, your story is, unique in a way because you had experienced dementia with your mom, and then you experienced it with your husband. Talk to me a little bit about how you ensure you're taking care of Gloria.
My husband goes to a day program twice a week, and I go to support group once a month. I find that invaluable. Every time I go, I think, well, it's the same group of women. We're just going to talk about the same thing. But, a whole group of women don't ever just talk about the same thing.
Bingo.
And it's always something new. I always learn something new. Yeah. I always find out about a new program or a new hint for dealing with some behaviors. We shed tears together. We do a lot of laughing. Surprisingly enough,
I get that.
we do.
Yeah.
And Marv goes to a program on Tuesday, a day program on Tuesday. I go and play bridge for the whole day, and it's not so much serious bridge. It's a lot of laughing, and with some close friends that I've known for, 40 years. So that's good. And on Wednesday, he goes to another day program, and that's my day. Like this morning, I went out for breakfast with friends. And then I came here. Sometimes I go home and I just read, I sleep, I do grocery shopping, whatever. I sometimes just sit and do nothing.
Wednesday is Gloria Day.
It's Gloria Day.
I love it. I love it. We all need a Gloria Day.
And the other days, my husband still likes to come out and shop or do something, go for a drive, do something like that. The kids are great. Our children and granddaughter, her family are very supportive, and our daughters-in-law, same. And so that makes a big difference. And my own siblings, too, because they know. So there's never any lack of somebody to talk to. There's never any lack of programs. And Kara also put me in touch with the Pearly Guest House.
Yes.
And that's great, because went away for a week in November to a friend's, and I didn't worry about Marv at all. I know he's really well taken care of, and he knows it there, and he's relaxed. So that makes Gloria, a big difference.
She just touched on so many things there. Yeah. The laughter piece, the tears, because that's an outlet, the respite, the family interaction. Is this what you hear from people that these elements are helping them get through?
Absolutely. Connecting, getting support through your family members when you can. Yeah. But if you can't, then and lots of times it's being willing to accept outside support. There's a lot of people who say, it's okay, I got this, I can do this. Say, yes, you can, but it doesn't mean that you have to. You don't have to do it on your own. So reaching out to those community services, coming to the support groups, using, social programs, whether it's a day program or some of our programs, using what's out there to take care of yourself, because you're no good to the other person if you're burning yourself out.
Yeah.
Right?
I almost forgot about the Daisy Cafe.
Yes, that's true.
So tell us about the Daisy Cafe.
Yeah.
The Daisy Cafe is a program that involves students from Algonquin who are in, tell me what program it is.
Hospitality?
It's occupational therapy and physical therapy assistance.
Okay.
And so they're learning how to, react and engage with people with dementia. And it's great for, Marv loved going there because he met some friends there that he really enjoyed. And there was music, and Kara tells, some pretty corny jokes. And
way to go, Kara.
And the other volunteers, there's a lot of volunteers. Yeah. There are, people that work for the Dementia Society as well. And it's just a fun 2 hours.
Love that.
And I have 2 hours to do whatever I want. So that means it's dangerously close to the Costco Business Center.
I get that. I understand that 100%.
And a couple of other places. Sometimes they'll just give me a quiet corner and I'll just sit and read or do nothing.
But it's those moments, because it's almost, I picture a big tank. Yeah. So I picture a big tank filling up. You're tired. It's getting to be a lot. I've repeated this, this answer 552 times. It feels like, no, we're not going to be doing that today. All of those conversations, the tank and it gets, filled to the brim and it starts bubbling over.
Yeah.
Does the bubbling over and the reduction of the tank part of what you're trying to do for people like Gloria?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to give them the tools and the strategies to be able to cope with, and deal with what's happening. So whether it's helping to manage a specific situation or just, the guilt of feeling frustrated or the resentment of this isn't what my life was supposed to be. I mean, those are all real feelings. So, just helping to, in whatever way we can, to give the resources and have that person to talk to. And that's, with the support groups especially, it's connecting caregivers with other caregivers who really get it, who understand the 24/7 of it,
And one of the things I've found in going to the support groups is that we all have a different story. We're all sort of, going through the same thing in a different way. Everybody has a different take, different situation, different family support, whatever. But we all understand, and so we don't have to pretend that everything's wonderful. We're allowed, we cry, we support each other, and when we know we're not able to do it all ourselves, then we get encouraged to get some help, and that makes a big difference too.
Does the Dementia Society, Gloria, allow you to be a wife as opposed to a caregiver?
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
I'm always going to be the caregiver, but what makes that easier is that my husband and I have been married for almost 54 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have a bond that won't be broken by disease or by, and I was quite ill 10 years ago and he looked after me, and I would never think not to any more than he would. So, but you are first a wife, but you are still a caregiver, and sometimes that gets in the way. And so you find a balance, like anything else. So, if he had something else, if he had heart disease, or if he had, I don't know, any other kind of disease, you just get along with it, It took a while at the beginning. I guess there's steps in acceptance the way there are in anything else, but this helps, and certainly there are days when I just want to scream, and sometimes I do. Not at him, but
We're probably screaming at the same moment. Yeah, there's Gloria and Sam, opposite ends of the city, screaming away. I get that, and I think it's an important outlet, to be honest. And I think the tears are important. I think the laughter is important. I think things that I laughed at, I never thought in a million years I would laugh at. But the things that will get us through are those moments.
yes, exactly.
And Kara, I have to ask you this: how do you care for you? Because you're caring for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good
I can tell
question.
this has been a conversation. Yeah, we only have a minute, but I'd love to hear.
Yeah, I think it's just making sure that you as supporting caregivers, just taking that step back for yourself. We do on our team, we do case collaborations, and we're always there as dementia care coaches for each other as well. So if we have a tough conversation, we have the rest of the team to talk to about it as well. And sometimes a caregiver will come to me with a situation and I go, I've never had to help someone with that. So I have my team to kind of back me up and say, does anyone know about this?
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for both sharing your story. I really do appreciate it. Gloria and Kara joining us today. When we come back, we're not done. We're still telling you about the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County. Come on back.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV, Channel 22. I'm Jillian Turman. Ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes here at Rogers TV? Now's your chance to find out. As part of Doors Open Ottawa, we're opening our studio doors to you, the public, for one day only. Come take a guided tour of our state-of-the-art facilities, meet our team, and see how your favorite community shows are made. You'll get a behind-the-scenes look at everything from the control room to the studio floor. Whether you're a budding broadcaster, a longtime viewer, or just curious about community television, all are welcome. Tours run on Saturday, June 7th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. here at 475 Richmond Road. There's free parking, we're OC Transpo accessible, and yes, we're family friendly too. To have your community news or event listed on our website, head to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy, or you could use the Arrive Alive smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
With clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
Well, we've told you all about the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County, and we've talked to caregivers and, of course, leadership regarding all the resources and opportunities for you to get support if you need it for your loved one, and especially for you, because if you're a caregiver, believe me, I know you need support. Now we want to talk about how you can support this work of this organization, and I'm joined right now by Pauline Bondi and Veronica Engelbert. It's nice to see you both.
Nice to
see
here.
you.
Thank you.
And you've got a really important role. You are the chair of the Fund Development Committee.
I am the chair of the Fund Development Committee.
Yeah. And for those that aren't familiar with what that means,
Yes.
give us the lowdown.
Well, our responsibility is to look for opportunities to support Pauline and the organization in its entirety in developing opportunities for increasing donations and support from the community. Whether that's at a corporate level or at a personal level, we look for those opportunities and support their work in whatever way possible.
Wonderful. And you're coming up onto a year of being there. Congratulations. I know how excited you are to be working for this wonderful organization, Pauline. And give us a sense of your role. What's your role with the organization?
So yes, thank you. And thank you for having us here today. It was such a delight. Yeah. So my role is Director of Philanthropy. My team works very closely with our Fund Development Committee to raise the necessary revenue we need to run our amazing programs. So we have lots of different pockets of funding that we focus on. Of course, we have some government funding as well, which is we're very grateful for, but a lot of our programs are covered by individual donations and corporate donations and those kinds of things. And so it's about working with the community to really come together and raise the necessary funds to support our community. So that's really the essence of my role, is to bring people together to cover the costs of those programs and services that are so important to the people of Ottawa and Renfrew County.
Beautifully said. And when I think, Veronica, about what's coming up, so September the 21st is the big day. It's the Walk for Dementia. I was there last year. Beautiful energy, and I was bumping into friends all over the place. So sometimes I didn't know that they had a family member that had dementia. So we were having these moments and we were sharing. Talk to me about that event, because it was so well run, but it was also just inspiring to see the people out walking.
Yeah, it is a great event, and it's a great opportunity for the society in its entirety to embrace the support that we have from the community and really celebrate it, and an opportunity for people to show and demonstrate their support for the community. It's been an event that stretches back a number of years. We were a bit derailed by the pandemic, So it's been a few years of coming back to that momentum, and we're really grateful that the community has responded, and we're seeing that kind of support again.
And you do see it. The corporate support is really key. I think about all kind of the different people that would have an interest. The corporate sponsors that I saw, a number of my friends were there supporting as well. Talk to me a little bit about how someone could get involved from a corporate perspective.
Oh, so I mean, we have a wonderful Walk for Dementia sponsorship package that we've put together that offers different benefits at different levels. We have lots of visibility for corporations who may be interested to support this particular cause. As we know, most people know someone or have lived experience as a caregiver themselves or someone who is living with dementia. And so there are lots of ways to get involved. You can reach out to us directly, and we can provide some more information about those different levels of sponsorship. Right now, I can tell you lots about the. For our sponsors who are currently participating, we have one joining us today, Richardson Wealth. We're very pleased to have them. They're a long-time sponsor. I can tell you that the corporate support that we've had, like with Richardson Wealth and with our other corporate sponsors, has been long-standing. They are very committed to our cause, and we work closely with them year on year to build visibility for the organization. We look at those partnerships as really win-win, to be able to showcase that commitment in both spaces, both for the Dementia Society and for our corporate partners. And we work with them very closely to build tailored partnerships that serve both of our needs.
And the individual giving as well, obviously, is really key. I saw people out there, they're just on their own and they just want to do something that day. There's still time to register, I'm assuming.
There is. In fact, our website is to go live very soon.
Great.
So the registration opens, and the summer is a challenge because there's so many other distractions in the summer. So it's important that we promote and create awareness for the event to ensure that people are aware of it. As we know, it comes up on us very quickly once September rolls around. And it gives people an opportunity to either, if they're walking on their own or creating a team with a family, to encourage and get that team together and create some excitement and momentum around that.
And there certainly was a lot of excitement. And are you doing it from the same location as you did last year?
We are. We will be at the Dementia Society Center again this year at 2327 Saint Laurent Boulevard. We will be doing our 1 kilometer walk, the same as last year. So you'll see a lot of things that are very familiar to you, but with some new surprises as well. So very excited for that coming up. And just to build on what Veronica said, we are actually going live with our website on June 7th.
Okay, great.
So you can register.
Fantastic.
Please join us at the walk. We would love to have you there.
Fantastic. And I loved it. It was in the Saint Laurent Business Park. And of course, everyone knows the Saint Laurent Business Park, may not know that that's where you're located.
That's right.
But it was such a fantastic location because everyone knows where it is, easy to get to. And there was just a very, I will say, a very easy walking path.
Yes.
Yes. Was that just for me, Veronica, or
Absolutely.
for everybody?
I think it was for everyone. It is. It's so easy to participate because it's not a full day of commitment. You're not walking 10 or 15 or 20 kilometers. Not that that's not a good thing, but this is quite attainable for those who want to participate. And it is fun. We've got information. We've got live music. We're led off by a wonderful piper with the bagpipes. There's a silent auction. There's just a lot of opportunity. We have a warm up before the walk starts. So there's lots of fun, and it's an easygoing, really great way to spend a Sunday, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. I rocked the warm-up last year. That's the one thing I did rock. Talk to me a little bit about monthly giving, Pauline, because I think this is a way, and I think families that may be experiencing a loved one with dementia, it's every day of the year. And monthly giving is every month, that commitment. So there's an alignment there of, we know that we're not going to solve dementia tomorrow. So here's a bit of a boost, a sustainable way of fundraising for your organization.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a wonderful way to make a huge impact on the work that we do. The monthly giving, the notion of monthly giving is something you know that you're doing, as you say, every month. It's an ongoing commitment, but it's about the sustainability of our organization. So when you commit to giving a monthly gift, you are saying, I want the Dementia Society to be here well into the future, to be a sustainable organization, to continue with their programs and services, not just today, but for the future, because people need us now and people will need us in the future. And so a monthly gift can support that.
For sure. And then thinking about, those opportunities to when you're creating your will and leaving an organization, those are donors that maybe feel really connected to your work. They're leaving you in their wills because they know the numbers are just going to get higher.
Yeah, it's very important. In fact, there are many ways to give, and certainly leaving a donation, naming the organization as a beneficiary in your will is a great way to do that. There are, you can donate securities, stock, RSPs, any of those kinds of assets that you might have. In fact, the website has a great list of how to donate, and the options are numerous. I mean, you can donate a car that you no longer have use for. There's just such a broad way. And Pauline's point about, we have a great need now, given that we only really address about 20% of the current audience or population that's living with dementia. I think of it projected out to 2050, 50,000 people. In my mind, I remind myself, that's 50 in 50. That's how I remind myself. And whether we can increase that now or tomorrow through these types of ways of donating is key. But also looking forward to, part of the role of our committee is also to ensure that we're creating the awareness that we need to ensure that people know who we are, not only who we are, but what we do and how they can participate or support us. And I do want to note it's important that people understand that we are a local organization. The money donated to us stays in the community.
So important.
It supports the services that are delivered in Ottawa and Renfrew County. It doesn't go to a provincial or national organization for redistribution. It stays here. So every dollar donated is spent here to support the community.
Yeah, really important. And I think, the whole opportunity to reach out to you and have a discussion, because there may be someone, Pauline, that's listening to us and they're like, you know what, I maybe got a little bit of an inheritance, or my business is doing really well, or maybe my mom is dealing with dementia. All of those reasons that someone may want to reach out to you, and I know you're open to that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Please reach out to us.
Yeah.
You can contact me directly to talk about any of those things, and I can connect you with other folks in our organization, like Kara, who you spoke with earlier, to be able to support some of those needs. We're here to help, and I would add that most of the people who work at the Dementia Society have lived experience as a caregiver or with, in some form, and that really supports the very passionate staff, and we're here to support you.
Yeah. The vision that came to my mind when you said that is it's a safe place to land. And so many of us are kind of, as I said before, I feel like the sandwich generation, and I'm baloney in the middle. And I think many of us are looking for that soft place to land. So thank you so much for all the work that you do. And give us the name of the website again. Where are we sending people?
So it's dementiahelp.ca/walk. And from there, you can donate, you can register as an individual or as part of a team. There are lots of ways to support. You can support someone else. dementiahelp.ca/walk.
dementiahelp.ca/walk. Easy to remember, and an opportunity as well to really engage with those people in the community. Like I said, last year I was shocked at how many people I knew that were there, which really speaks to your work and that you're not only doing the work, but you're bringing a community together. So thank you so much for everything you're doing, Veronica and Pauline. And we are not done yet. When we come back, we're going to have another conversation today about the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County. And if there's one thing I ask today, is that if you need them, you reach out. We'll be back on An Hour to Give.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV Channel 22. I'm Dave Hilson. The Tim Hortons Ottawa Dragon Boat Festival returns to Mooney's Bay Park from June 20th to 22nd. Founded in 1993, the event is recognized as North America's largest dragon boat festival and features over 125 teams from 5 countries competing in thrilling 500-meter races. The event celebrates community spirit through corporate challenges as well as challenge cups featuring youth teams, cancer survivors, charities, and more. You can enjoy free concerts, artisan markets, diverse food vendors, and family-friendly activities. With free admission, it's a vibrant kickoff to Ottawa's summer season. Visit dragonboat.net for full details. To have your community news or event listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
Please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
Hey everybody, my name is Karen. I'm here with my best friends Shane and Monique. Join us on Rogers TV for Fitness Faction. Every week we're going to take you through a full body workout. We've got strength training, we've got cardio, we've got HIIT. Ladies, let's get back into it.
I think we've got 10 more skaters. Let's go.
Oh, you might be feeling really alone if you're having a loved one that is dealing with dementia. And there's no one that knows that more than me. We know we've been talking a lot about the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County, and I'd like to welcome back their fearless leader, the one and only Monique Doolittle-Romas. Thank you so much, Monique, for joining us again. And you brought a friend with you. Sebastian Lacoste is here. Hi, Sebastian.
Hi.
And you're from Richardson Wealth?
I am, yes.
Tell us what you do.
Okay, so at Richardson Wealth, we're an independent wealth management firm in Ottawa. We're actually located in Little Italy on Preston Street.
Nice.
We've been at it locally in Ottawa since 2007. So we have a lovely group of investment advisors who look after clients' wealth. They help them accumulate wealth, look after it, and pass it on to the next generation as well.
And you've made a different kind of investment in the community. Tell me about that.
We have, yeah, thank you. So I joined the organization, it'll be 3 years this August coming up. And one of the first things I wanted to do is figure out where can we get involved in a community, right? I feel like we work in a very fortunate industry. It was important for me to find ways to give back to the community. And there was a comment made earlier which resonated with me, so I'll play it back for a second. We found that there's lots of organizations out there that are historically been getting a lot of love, right, as far as sponsorships and support. I was talking to the advisors in my office, right, because we're very much a team, and I lean on them for ideas as well, and we all decided that let's find organizations, right, that are having a local impact, right, and maybe organizations that historically haven't gotten as much support. So we've tackled a few of them. The Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County is on that list, right, and it's one of them. So wanted to find ways to give back, right? And the Walk for Dementia coming up is something we've done historically year after year. So I simply continued that tradition when I came in. But what we did do this year, which I'm excited about, is we found ways to increase our participation, right? And so that feels good, right? Feels good. We're helping Monique and her team, get some funding to keep doing the amazing work that they do.
And when we think about the definition of philanthropy, and you've heard me say this before, and it's worldwide, it's known, it's philanthropy is time, talent, and treasure. And you think about Sebastian sitting beside you today, he's invested, and not the kind of investments he deals with every day, but he's really invested in your work.
He is extremely invested in our work, and Sebastian walks the talk. They have increased their corporate donation for us this year. They've been a multi-year sponsor, and they recognize the importance of doing that. And then Sebastian surprised us with hosting an event and decided to have an auction and chose us as the recipients. Wow. And then he asked if he could do an educational session with his staff. So it's not just a sponsorship. He wants to be dementia friendly. He wants to ensure that Richardson Wealth is dementia friendly. So we're going to be meeting with his team on June 18th as well to see what we can do to support them as they support us.
Dementia friendly. I love that. I love that. So talk to me a little bit. You know, we've heard it today. We've heard people on the board. We've heard staff. People have that, and you've heard my story.
Yes.
People have a personal connection. Is there a connection?
Absolutely, absolutely, there is. Yeah. So in my own family, right, we have a family member who's dealing with dementia and has been for a while, and so. I've seen my own mother go through the role of caregiver, right, and struggle at times and so on. So I think having access to what Monique and her team do is critical, right? And it's so important. And I look at our own clients at work as well, right? And the demographic of our clients has many people that probably do live with dementia, right, or know somebody that does. It was really interesting last week. So yeah, we had an event for our clients, and what we did is we had a cardiologist come in and a dietitian to talk about longevity. Really interesting conversation, and and what came out of that is just talking to people at the event, you can see that everybody knows somebody who is dealing with dementia in some sort. So. And it was interesting to see. So one of my takeaways from the event was we have to be more preventive where we can, right? And so it was interesting to hear the talk about what can you do to look after your brain, right? To work towards living a healthier and longer life, and potentially prevent some of what's happening, right, as much as possible. But that being said, I think it was just so important to find an organization that also resonates with our clients, right, because they're going through this, and so it was a natural fit.
Yeah, and often we refer to this as sponsorship, but the word partnership is feeling more appropriate here, because it's. Dementia friendly, that term you use, just the commitment to do more than write a check. Because we know a lot of corporations, and no disrespect, but they're writing that check and they're mailing that check, and that is it. And not that we don't respect, the treasure piece, but this kind of commitment. Do you have others in your circle that are also as committed as Sebastian?
We do. I'd have to say Sebastian and his team have gone above and beyond for us this year. But we do. For example, one company is Tea and Toast. They've come in at a higher level sponsorship this year as well. And then I said, well, I'm looking for people who could help us fundraise a little bit more. How would you feel about using your contacts? And right away it was the same thing. Yeah. And Catherine from Buildable and our IT company, Neolor, Star Motors, they're all stepping up and responding. And the beauty is Sebastian and his team will come walk with us. They're not, as you said, it's not just here's your check, but they'll be part of the family. There are 300 people that will walk with us on September 21st, World Alzheimer's Day. And it was my first walk last year, and I think I said it to you that day. I'm overwhelmed. Everybody's hugging everybody, and they're happy to see each other. Maybe they only met virtually. We had people come in from Renfrew County as part of Caitlin's team. They were just happy to be together. Yes, they're facing dementia, but it doesn't always have to be sad. It doesn't always have to be difficult. And all of our sponsors, our partners, our community partners are all part of that success. You've been part of that wonderful day. And it was just a joyous feeling. 100%. That's what stayed with me that day.
100%. And I love that you're in the Valley, because I'm a Deep River gal. Yeah. So Renfrew County, that work is so important, because often those smaller communities are left behind. So thank you as well for that. Sebastian, what would you say to anyone that is maybe sitting on the sidelines a bit when it comes to their partnerships and the joy you can tell it emulates from you how much you appreciate this partnership as well?
Yeah, good question. Okay, so I would say it's one thing to provide funding, right? I think you mentioned like to write a check, but I think what you want to do is really get involved, right? And find out more about what it is that the organization does. And you mentioned Tea and Toast earlier. I worked with Tea and Toast this year earlier within my own family, and they were outstanding.
Yeah.
Right, and I would say you need to find out more about what it is that they do, right? And then you're going to want to naturally do more, right? Get involved even more so. I look at our own investment advisors in our office when we did the event last week. They all jumped in after and said, we're all going to donate a little bit more.
Oh, nice.
Right after the auction, and so really thankful for their generosity. As with our speakers as well, right? And so I think you want to find out more. Otherwise, if you're just sitting on the outside, like you're saying, obviously I'm sure Monique will appreciate your donation.
Absolutely.
She'll never turn that down. But I think getting involved a little bit deeper goes a long way.
We belong to the Tea and Toast Club, because we worked with Amy as well, Amy Friesen and her team. So,
Okay.
Yes, I absolutely understand that.
Yeah.
We only have a minute. It goes by so fast. Inspire us again to get involved. Share how we can support you.
Half of our funding comes from the Ministry of Health, and we are so grateful. However, we need to raise almost $900,000 to provide the dementia coaching, the education, the awareness, to create a dementia-friendly community from Orleans all the way out to Pembroke, Petawawa. We need the community to help us. We need the community to support us, to volunteer, to donate, tell people about us, because today we're supporting 5,100 caregivers. We need to reach 24,000, and we need to be ready for tomorrow and the year after to reach 50,000. That keeps me up at night. We need to reach all of them, and thanks to you and Sebastien and the community, Gloria, we will be able to, but we need people to help us. Please help us.
100%. Thank you so much for your message today and for the great work. Thank you for your partnership as well. I'm Sam Laprade, and I've mentioned to you a few times throughout the show today that my family is also dealing with our loved one, our lovely, beautiful mom, who is living with dementia, and we're so grateful for the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County, and I'm hoping you reach out to them. Walk with us on September the 21st. Thank you so much for joining us for An Hour to Give.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university, so they toasted his profs, his TAs, his old roommates,